Hello and welcome back. I'm Morgan Hazelwood, and this is a Sunday afternoon live stream productivity sprint where sometimes I'm more productive than others. But this week I've got a lot I want to get done, so we might be sprinting more than chatting. You never know. Welcome and thank you for joining me, Doc. Did you want to say hi to the nice people?
Thank you. Hi, nice people. I am Doc Coleman. I write steampunk comedy adventure. Um, and I'm way behind on my productivity, so I need to get things done. But I'm not sure how much that's going to happen. But we'll give it the good old college try and see how it goes.
What are you working on today?
Oh, I'm still working on revisions to Kindred of Kali. Um, it's it's been kind of slow going, and it seems like this is about the only time that I'm able to dredge up in my week to actually work on it. But
I get
at,
that.
at least at least I get to move forward once a week. So.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Yeah. And what are you working on today?
So I need to get my weekly roundup out. I'd like to get at least one chapter done, and I need to start watching DisCon 3 recorded panel discussion
Mm.
because Monday night I have a publicity meeting, and Tuesday night is date night, and Wednesday night I'm going to go help my mom sort out taxes after a massage. And my video usually goes up Thursday morning. And so
So
does
you've
that
got a
make
lot to
sense?
get in.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. Plus I want to get some day job done stuff done today as well because why not, right? So I got a lot I want to get done. Have you been outside today? Did you get to enjoy any of the first day of spring?
I was outside briefly earlier, putting recycles and trash out in the bins. It's cooler today than it was yesterday. So it's like the
Yes.
last day of winter is definitely winning for more temperate weather.
I went down to my mother's house this weekend to prep for said tax appointment. And she also had me doing some yard work, and I set up um, the she'd had her lawn regraded, and they
Mhm.
set her garden box over against a tree and piled stuff up over by it. And maybe it's because the regraded yard is less dampered, or maybe it's because they left the entire pile of leaves in her ditch instead of taking it away and then being like, oh, that'll be $300 extra if you want us to go grab that. Um,
Really?
her yard is entirely vole and molehills. Like you
Oh,
can't
lovely.
take two steps without like the yard being disturbed from somebody tunneling underneath. And so it might be grubs love the leaf pile, or it could just be the dirt's not so packed because it was regraded. I don't
Mhm.
know, but she's getting an exterminator out. Not sure if we're going after the moles and voles themselves or if we're going after the grubs, but it's
Hmm.
pretty atrocious. But yeah, so I got mesh and weed block and the frame of the flower or the garden bed uh, over the fence and set up where mom wanted it. And I raked up 2 bags of leaves, and I moved the bird bath to the
Mhm.
center of the dog yard. I rolled the base and then lifted the top and got that filled up. And she was only using one of the garden beds, and the plastic one, I traipsed around the yard and I tucked it under her shed for storage. And then we had lunch, and then I bagged 12 bags of leaves from what they put in the ditch. And I
Yeesh.
just got from what had spread out to the main pile. And anything more than this far down was dense and soaking wet because it's in a ditch and it can't
Right.
get to the sun. And so after 12 bags, I was like, I have no more oomph. I can't. I just can't do anymore.
And there was
I'm
still more
going to
leaves there?
what?
And there were still more leaves?
Oh, I did maybe a third, maybe a
Oh, sheesh.
quarter of what they had there. Yeah. It's a lot of leaves. I'm like, no wonder they want to charge $300. But don't they have like
I was kinda thinking the
a
same thing, but
don't they have a leaf suction thing that goes bloop and just puts it in the truck?
Oh, they
They
they ought
have
to.
like 3 guys in 1 hour because, I'm an office worker. I'm not like yard work is not my forte. So, it was a
Sheesh.
lot. It was a lot. Today, I just picked up sticks and wandered around my lawn, um, and admired the beauty that the previous owner has left me that I am slowly letting fall into disrepair because I am not a gardener by
Mm.
any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. A pandemic is not necessarily the time you wanna hire, garden workers to make your lawn beautiful, right?
Beginning of the pandemic, I finally got my yard remulched,
Mm.
but I think that'll be a next year thing, not a this summer spring
Yeah.
thing. So, in the audience, hello. Pelly says the nice people say hello, and the weather is lovely where he is. I believe he's down in Georgia. So, oh, okay. I hit a slipper. I thought I'd bumped into my kitty, which
Wow.
is not. So, if you're hanging out with us today, let us know what you're working on today or lurk away. You don't have to, sign in and let Twitch or YouTube steal your data in order to hang out with us. Just unfortunately to chat. So, oh, it's been a week. It's been a week. I don't know about you.
I know that I was really tired this morning.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
looking back on my week and finding out it's like, "Oh, I've been subsisting on about 4 hours of sleep a night." Um, so I tend to sleep in late on the weekends, and then it's like, "Oh, how do I get stuff done?"
I don't know either. I almost dozed off to sleep before this stream.
Mm.
Um, but then I was like, "Oh yeah, let me go grab some pictures of the flowers because I can't do that after the stream because the sun will be going down." And then I downloaded a new phone game. Have you seen the like fishdom where it's little fishy and you go
Mhm.
against the like different numbers and they're swimming through the grates and stuff?
Yeah.
It's a Bejeweled game with mini games.
Yeah, and it's like they show you all these variations of the game in the ads, and it's like the real game doesn't have any of that in
It
it.
does. It does. I have done at least
No.
one sewer go through and one
Yeah.
fight the other number thing.
But but it's
So
like for the most part, those play methods only exist in the ads. So
let's see. Last time I got duped into getting a game that ended up being something totally different. It had mini games for the first 10 levels and then stopped.
oh, lovely.
Just enough that you to give you hope that, had some of the game you were looking for.
Mhm.
But I mean, I was playing solitaire on my phone, so it's not like, Bejeweled is that far off.
Yeah.
I haven't had a Bejeweled minigame in a while. Although I do like the ones with plots a little better.
It's kinda
I'm
like if I
half
wanna go
tempted,
back and play Bejeweled, I'll play Bejeweled or Candy Crush.
right? Right? So let's see. Hopping to the comments, Kelly says, I will try to get into the yard this week. I have a lot of weeds to pull and sticks to pick up. I have what I call the stick tree in my front yard. It's a river birch, I think, because it's got white bark that peels off in strips and looks like paper. I
Hmm.
also call it my paper tree. But just before I bought the house, and I moved here almost 5 years ago now, the lady had gotten it trimmed for shape and not for structure. And so it
Man.
all these little twigs and sticks every time the wind blows from, October until April, sticks everywhere, branches coming down, no limbs, but sticks and branches and twigs all everywhere. And the tree is right next to the sidewalk, such that the roots are starting to shift the sidewalk, that close.
Hmm.
And so I look like the jerk neighbor if I don't go out at least once or twice a week and pick up sticks that are on the sidewalk so people can walk their dogs.
I was wondering why you had such a problem with all the twigs and sticks falling around your property, and I hadn't realized that you could actually trim a tree so that its own limbs were not structurally sound.
Yeah, yeah, that's what happens
Oh,
when you get the wrong type of pruner. They make it look pretty, but they don't look at like where the growth sprouts out, and then you
mhm.
have all these new growth coming out. So luckily, it's been long enough. I think I can go ahead and get it re-trimmed. So I should probably call a tree trimming company soon.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll call the local gardening center and get a recommendation.
Couldn't hurt.
But yeah, so Hayden says hello or hi, actually. And Kelly is going to be working on his editing schedule and planning a project here. While I was driving around yesterday, coming back from my mom's because it's a couple-hour drive, I started world building again, a new world.
Uh-oh.
So I
Are you gonna
I'm
tell us
thinking.
about this new world, or are you just telling us you're happy because you started world building again?
So I love reading urban fantasy and paranormal
Mhm,
romance and stuff, but that genre has never appealed to me for writing purposes. And I was
mhm,
like, well, why don't I tiptoe my way in? And I was reading something, last week's blog post. They were talking about how it was Ask an Editor Anything and how they liked a unique magic system. And I was like, what would be a cool modern ish magic system if knitters, embroidery weavers, that was the magic. And
thread magic.
knitters are clearly the hedge witches. But if you drop a stitch or whatever, it doesn't actually do the magic, the protection or whatever. And so, you'll have knitting circles and you'll have somebody from like the embroideries guild keeping an eye on them to make sure that they're not doing stuff they don't know how to do.
Hmm, interesting.
Um, and I think it's all things to deal with the spirit world, like ghosts and that sort of thing. Um, not necessarily straight up ghosts, but um,
I was just
yeah,
thinking, he's like, "What's going on?" It was Marjorie again. She pearled when she should have knitted and let another demon into the house.
right, right. So yeah, and and so I just thought it was really really fun. I'm playing with it right now. I'm thinking about like the types of spirits they're trying to protect you from, and one is the sleep thief who keeps you from going to bed when you should, and one
Mhm.
is the stress monster that just like sits on your chest and makes you stressed out all the time, and one is the joy thief who like takes your energy and joy so then you're depressed and just sort of that kind of thing. But yeah, so it's something I'm working on. I'm just playing with in the back of my head, trying to sort out exactly who the story is about and
Mhm.
the politics involved. So, but I'm having fun working on that in the back of my head. It's not ready for a story, but maybe by Nano. So it was just a notion I came up with while driving the eternity that is Route 17. So, the kids are asleep, swung by. Hello, hello. And Kelly is enjoying the term thread magic
Yeah.
and think something sounds like capitalism. I think it's more, you don't want them to do magic if they don't know what they're doing because they could do it wrong.
Hmm.
And I think the spirits and stuff are part of a hidden world where only the people in the know about magic, and so they're keeping an eye on hobby knitters to make sure they're not accidentally casting stuff.
Hmm.
But, think about all those like knitted blankets for babies in the ICU and how they can be protection and like strength to help them get better. Okay,
Actually,
maybe just me.
I was looking, thinking about it in terms of when they used to teach like home ec at schools, that was done to keep the normal kids from accidentally casting magic. Because if you go and start sewing on something and don't know what you're doing, you can make all kinds of awful connections. Uh,
And I'm like, knitters can do like protectiony stuff, and embroidery people can do really, really intricate stuff.
mhm,
But you need to know what you're doing in order to get it to trigger. And hand spun wool is thread, and yarn is obviously more powerful than machine spun
mhm.
because you can imbue it with more power.
That's the more you handle it, the more you imbue it with power.
Right, right. So Kelly said, "Oh, the crushing spirits, sound
Mhm.
like capitalism." Gotcha. Oh, I'm not unique. Oh, The Kids Are Asleep says "Torn" by Rowena Miller was a cool book about magical sewing. I mean, I know it wasn't totally unique. There's the whole loom with the
Oh yeah,
fates.
I remember that
So
video game.
I remember that from the mythology section of my elementary school library. I read the entire section.
Well, heck, that's embedded in Norse mythology. The idea that you weave fates.
The Norns.
Yep,
That's the The Kids Are Asleep reminded me. It's good to have comps.
yep.
So true. So, for those who don't know, I'm wearing my Thing 2 t-shirt. I am a second born twin, so context. So, anywho, that's not what I'm working on today, though. Today, I need to get my weekly roundup out and I need to get some editing done on my space fantasy so I can get it done before the end of my sister's semester so I can get it to her. I was hoping for spring break, but that was last week, so it's not going to get done by last week.
Not without a time machine, anyway.
It's okay. She didn't have time this week anyway. She had other stuff going on. So but I love my
Mm.
alpha reader. She has my context and lived experience, so I can see if what I was trying to do works before I, get into the craft and things like that. And she is halfway through getting her master's in library science. So, you know, it's not like this is outside of her genre or wheelhouse or, reviewing books is something she does.
Mhm.
So, anyway, I'm excited.
Yes.
Uh, th-
It reminds me of trying to tell the beta readers, it's like, okay, you you're a beta reader. That means you get to review and comment on the book, and your comments may actually change it and make it better. That's
Yep.
that's that's all it means. You don't have to look for special things. You just read it and talk about what you read.
People want different things out of their beta readers.
Yeah.
I enjoy asking them to put a note when they start getting distracted, so I can see when the momentum drops off.
Yeah, but I'm dealing with beta readers who like think, "Oh, I'm a beta reader. I need to have special skills. I need to know volumes and grammar and about writing and storing." It's like, no, you don't. You don't
That's
need to know anything.
line or copy editor. A
Yeah,
beta reader is telling us about the story, the pacing, the characters,
yeah.
some line edits, but only if you're confused or you just can't help yourself because you have a problem.
Yep.
So, anywho, Catechus was really enjoying this morning because I opened the windows, but then it's to get chilly. So I had
Mhm.
to close those. He definitely enjoys an open window though.
They like it
So
when you turn on the smell-o-vision.
the kids are asleep says, I like the ABCD method for betas. It's very simple. What's awesome, what's boring, what's confusing, and what causes this breaks the suspension of disbelief.
I
So
like that. I think it's the first time I've
yes,
seen that breakdown.
yeah, I hadn't seen it. I have 10 questions and a couple bonus questions I send my beta readers, and none of them answer the questions except for like one, but it puts in their head what type of feedback I'm looking for.
Mhm.
So, hello, Blake. Thank you for joining. Blake says it's possible to be technically linguistically correct, but still not interesting. That's what beta readers are for. Yes. So, okay, I think perhaps we're ready to do a sprint. Are you ready for a sprint?
Ah, I think so, yeah.
Do you have enough snacks to get you through?
I've got groceries ordered, so I will have snack replenishment sometime, during the next couple hours.
Excellent, excellent. So, okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get us started in three, two, one. Boom. Chakalaka. Sorry, I had to finish typing the sentence and then I had to find the window. So how was your sprint?
Um, I think it was pretty good. I'm almost done with chapter 4 revisions, and I mean like 2 short paragraphs left in the chapter. Um, some stuff I'll have to look at in a second pass, but I'm knocking out a lot of comments, so that's good. And my groceries have been shopped. Now I'm just waiting for them to come and be delivered. If you were watching the screen, you might have seen me take boxes outside.
I was not watching. Instead, I got a snack.
Reese's
My
Puffs.
mom buys me these every time I go home
Oh,
because I'm one of those weird freaks of nature who eats their cereal dry. So this is actually snack stuff and not breakfast cereal because
yeah.
that's a little too sweet for a breakfast cereal.
When I used to eat cereal, I would eat it dry, but it's like I kind of gave up on that because it's like I've always felt like eating cereal is a lot like chewing gravel most of the time.
Cereals I really like, but my blood sugar is weird and easily spikeable, and so I would keep eating cereal until lunchtime to keep the blood sugar from crashing,
Yeah,
which is maybe not the most effective way to do this.
probably.
But it does make for a delicious afternoon snack.
Mm. So you need some protein to go with the cereal so that it levels out your blood sugar instead of letting it crash.
Yeah. I think my problem was as a child, I ate very, very slowly. And if you do that with cereal and milk, it will dissolve into mush. And I had texture issues back then, and
Hmm.
it doesn't actually appeal to me now. Plus, I'm lactose intolerant these days.
Oh,
So,
that would be even more of a problem.
I mean, they have the lactose-free milk, but it's just a hassle, really.
Or, or they have
I
lactose which you can take so that you can go and eat the eat and drink the milky
Yes,
goodness without
I go nowhere without
yeah.
lactate, that one. But yeah, no, it's yeah. So I got my weekly roundup up and I edited what is this? One page of my story
Cool.
and got a snack and played with the kitty a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I mean, we all know what his priority is, but
Yeah.
oh, I took him to the vet this week and we talked about his play aggression and his lashing out when told no. And my vet was like, okay, so that sounds like a cat, especially if it's not coming out of nowhere. There's always a triggering event.
Hmm.
So he doesn't think it's anxiety or anything like that. And he doesn't want to drug my cat just for having a lot of energy, which
Hmm.
I totally get and respect. Also, fun note, since I plugged in the feel away, like literally you can see it, it's right there.
Right.
It's that little white thing. Um, I haven't had any attacks. I have had one leap at my back while I had my t-shirt on as
Hmm.
a tag, let's go play, now you chase me.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, it's been pretty good. So I'm
So
just
the
gonna
feel way may be
try
good
to
enough.
yeah, we'll see. Between feel away and trying to be good about playing with him a lot. And I think it's definitely helped that I've been able to open the windows and he loves like that's, cat TV for
Yeah.
hours.
The cats always love the smell of vision. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. And mine's right behind some bushes in
hmm.
my flower bed out front. So there's some birds that like to try and nest there, and
Hmm.
sometimes other cats wander by, and it's just there's a lot going on. A
How,
lot going on.
how does Catechus react when other cats wander by?
Um he gets like what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Um,
It's,
but yeah.
we used to have a cat that loved to hang out in the windows, and when outside cats would wander by and get up, she would like explode into a ball of fur and hisses, basically defending her territory and telling the other cat, "Move off! This is not your space. Get out of here."
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm gonna pop over to the comments real quick. I see Jenny joined us. Hello, Jenny. And we got Mama Ward. Hello and welcome. Uh, Thank you. The kids are alive, totally legitimizing my texture issues. Um, Jenny is working on her schedule for next week. Yes, that was totally like a cat is working as intended. And I I don't want to drug my cat. I just need to not be scared of my cat.
Mm-hmm.
So, as long as his aggression doesn't go up and I stay on top of the nail trimming, I think we're going to be okay. So, we'll see.
You just
Uh,
wanted to stop going for the face.
And then Ward would like to let us know that there were coded messages sent via knit scarves and blankets since the Revolutionary War. And one of my grandmother's cousins knitted music into her Afghans.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I
Um,
love that.
uh, um, I'm sorry. Uh, Sharon Lee and Steve Miller, in one of their latest books in the Corval series, they've got a character who uses needlework to help her do her astral navigation.
That's
So she's
super awesome.
and I don't know if they did the research and then wrote this, or if they wrote this and then it turned out that uh, uh, that there are already people who are using needlework in order to represent the 3D relationship between different stars and stellar systems. So,
Oh, that's glorious.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm super excited about this. Plus, how many times have you pricked your finger and 3 drops of blood will, activate it or whatever. So
Yeah.
anyway, I can't say that I didn't start off with Goose Girl in my head as a kickoff point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with the fairy tale, but on it she has a handkerchief from her mother, and it speaks to her. It's got like 3 drops of blood, and it speaks to her and says, your mother would be so ashamed if only she knew, because the maid forced her into switching outfits and is taking her place and forcing her to be the maid. And
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. The prince eventually finds out, and they kill the maid by rolling her naked down the street in a barrel with nails pointed inward. She picked the
Lovely.
punishment, but she thought it was for someone else
Ah, okay.
because she was willing to do that to someone else
Hmm.
for
Okay,
being a
fine. Good
liar.
for you. Yeah.
But yeah, so Goose Girl, it's a traditional fairy tale. Um, Probably Germanic, but I'm not 100% sure, but definitely that grim area. So
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to look it up at some time. Oh.
yep, it was a Grimm's. So I mean, there's a horrific death for somebody in it. It kind of leaned that way.
Yeah.
Uh, Karma? Really sure if it's karma or just, getting her just rewards. Jenny says, I need to remember that punishment for future books. I mean, not like people who tick you off in line at the grocery store. People running stop signs and trying to hit you on the street.
People who talk in the theater. No. Are you a person who talks out loud in the theater? No.
I mean,
It's
not always. Sometimes I'm just like, But my brother-in-law swore off ever sitting between my sister and I at a movie.
Hmm.
Although in my defense, it was Elektra,
Okay.
the sequel to Daredevil back in like '05 or something that was
Right.
critically panned. But during it, my sister and I would turn to him and whisper a comment about the thing, and then we'd see the other one was saying something, so we'd wait, and then we'd whisper. The other one would whisper, and it would be the same comment.
Okay. So he's getting it in stereo.
We'd wait. It would be like boop boop, and then boop boop. Ah, as MM Word says, grim stories or not for the faint of heart. Jenny loves grim stories, and people who answer their text messages in the theater and blind everyone around them. Ugh.
Yeah.
No, no, I don't do that. I at least turn off all notifications on my phone and flip it down when the movie starts. Maybe during previews, but not during the movie.
Yeah. Previews is not the movie, but once the
No.
movie starts, it's like okay.
Once the movie starts, I'm there for the movie. I paid how much?
Yeah.
And my fingers are covered in like that butter, little butter
And,
grease.
and the butter spray that they.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I've stopped getting buttered popcorn at the movies just because of how greasy this stuff is. And
but
it's like,
to be honest, I think last time I got corn dogs instead. The little bite-sized ones.
mhm. But it's like if they ask you if you want the layered butter, it's like don't ever get it because by the time you get down to the bottom, it's just like it's a lake of butter that you're searching for popcorn pieces. It's disgusting.
It's like the soggy popcorn pieces can be tasty, but a couple of them, not like a mouthful of them.
Yeah.
Like one or two mixed in there. I also like the ones that are half kernel and half popped.
Hmm.
So going back to texture things.
Yep.
Blake says it sounds amazing. You know how to do that? Pop some popcorn, melt some butter, pour. Melt some more butter,
Or
pour, stir.
yeah,
Or you can always do it with the melted butter next to it and dipping each piece in.
you could do that.
Maybe put a couple pieces in and then fish one out at a time so it has time to saturate and get soggy. I don't know. You're talking to the girl who likes to have her nachos with the chips on the side. That way
So,
you can
so
dip and get them,
you,
they
you
stay
just you just
structurally.
have a big bowl of dip and then attack it with the nacho chips. Okay.
Yeah. Because when you do nachos, A, they're not evenly layered. So you get some with like nothing on it and some with a lot of the ones, some of them just have the cheese and they get soggy and they have no structural integrity left. And it just, I'd rather have my nachos as a dipping sauce.
Yeah, I kind of like the the better restaurant nachos that you get where they've taken the chips and they put meat and beans and meat and cheese and they lay it out and then bake the whole dish. Those are really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But
The kids are asleep agrees that chip integrity is important. So I've heard the best way to do it is to get a baking sheet and lay out the chips and then like
mhm.
drizzle across the cheese and drizzle across the ground meat, probably pre-cooked ground meat, I would assume,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
don't think it's
definitely.
gonna be because
I
you're
mean,
just putting it in the oven long enough to get the cheese all melty.
when I'm when I do nachos here at home, I get the Tostitos scoops because each one is like a
Um,
little bowl and I cook up a taco meat and put a little bit of meat into each one, and then like a black olive, and then sprinkle cheese all over the whole thing. And I have to admit, and I prep it up in a pie plate, and I have to admit, I just put it in the microwave for a couple minutes to melt the cheese. Um, and if I that works whether I'm using cold taco meat out of the fridge or fresh taco meat, but
Did you want to join our discussion of nachos? Oh, well, you're coming in anyway.
Yay, nachos!
Oh. So, in the audience, Jenny says, I get obsessive about my nachos when I make them. I have to have them layered, so I
Me,
just do them myself.
me
And
too.
Mama Maggie says, Agent Mayhem will not eat popcorn. He doesn't like the texture.
Mm.
So, how do you like your nachos?
Me, I like them with a little bit of everything. I will have a meat of some sort, usually not beef because I am allergic.
Oh,
And yeah, usually chicken. Some kind of
Have you always
pepper.
been allergic, or what, have you been one to start
Apparently,
sick?
no, I've always been allergic. I found out that I had a negative reaction when I stopped eating it and I stopped feeling like crap. And I was like, this is the new normal?
have you tried ground bison?
Bison is okay.
Okay.
I'm not a
Yeah.
huge fan of the taste.
No.
It's not something I'd go out of my way for.
Okay.
But
For me, ground bison makes excellent taco meat.
oh, right on.
And
Yeah.
that may just be that the taste fits my taste buds, doesn't necessarily fit yours. But
I know
Mhm.
some people whose main issue with beef isn't necessarily the beef, but the fat content, and so like leaner cuts are less traumatic for their system.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know.
I've just had a very negative like
Yeah,
reaction to beef, and when Greg got bit by the Lone Star tick, like he
he did.
yeah, he actually got bit by the tick. Yeah.
When was
that sucks.
this?
Oh, 5 years ago, 6 years ago,
Okay,
something like
okay,
that. So, like somewhat recent, but we omitted beef from our diet and I found
okay.
out like I could feel so much better. Like,
Hmm.
who
So,
knew?
So I know we switched from ground beef to mostly ground turkey. Just
We
in
do
order to
chicken or pork. Yeah.
it
We're
just
doing
in order
lamb
to
tonight.
okay.
yes.
But we just did it to try to reduce the amount of fat in our diet.
Hmm.
Um, but it's like every now and then we'll have something with beef and it makes a nice change, but we kind of haven't looked back.
So popping into the comments, Mama Maggie says layered nachos or layered 9-layer dip. And the
Both
kids are
have their
saying
benefits.
yes.
Both have.
Ginny was saying that she had to make it layered though, so I think that was what the
Yeah.
question was.
Yeah.
The kids are asleep. Said that vegan ground beef might be a good option too.
Actually, I've been thinking about it. The plant-based,
Mhm.
you know, substance, I guess it would be called, like like it's getting better and better.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I've been wary of them because I so many of the meat substitutions are soybean based, and A, one of my friends I cook for all the time is allergic to soy, and B, I already eat enough like edamame and stuff. I don't, and they say that too much soy in your diet is not necessarily good for you either. And I
Hmm.
didn't want to kick that into high gear. So
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, once too much of anything is not good for you.
that's why we have the traditional toast of to moderation.
Yes,
To
in
moderation.
excess. No.
All things in moderation, including moderation.
Indeed.
So yeah, MM Ward says I can't have soy, so plant meat subs are basically out.
It was really hard dating my last girlfriend because she is allergic to soy and mushrooms and gluten and
Yeah.
so
At least the
that
wool allergy doesn't usually come up at dinner time.
mhm, um so that like ousts like Japanese food, for instance, which is very soy heavy, very, you know,
Yeah.
And there's only so much substituting with coconut aminos one can do.
it doesn't work with Japanese food for sure.
That's why I said it's only so much you can do with. Yeah. So Mama Maggie says, plus so many of the plant-based meat substitutes have MSG or torula yeast extract, which are migraine triggers.
Oh, jeez.
That's rough. So, well, did we want to do a sprint or did we want to keep talking about food?
I'm probably going to look for food.
Right, and that'll give you time to find something delicious.
I'm going
Yay.
to say in about a minute here, I'm going to have a delivery of food. So,
All right, let's go ahead and get started in a 3, 2, 1, boom, chakalaka. And we're back.
Surprise.
Jenny, I hope you have a good birthday dinner. Yay. So, how was your sprint? Doc's was probably full of groceries.
Yeah, mine was all about groceries.
Sako,
Muted.
you're on mute.
I'm fooling around with a teleprompter on my iPhone
Ooh.
so that I can do my fancy schmancy videos. My poop.
I was using a teleprompter for my videos for a while, and then I was like, meh, effort, and they only elevate it like 10%.
Oh,
So it's just the way I do them and where I
Yeah.
have the,
yeah, for sure.
and Catechus kept knocking it over.
Oh,
I can see that being a problem.
So let's see. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages edited.
Nice.
So, and it's a ticking clock chapter. So it's got the pacing in there. There's a tsunami warning, and they've got 90 minutes before it hits.
Oh.
So ticking clock.
Mm-hmm. Dun dun dun.
Right? Half the family's evacuating, the other half is going to the top of a building that's supposed to be able to withstand the waves.
Gotcha.
So,
Nobody's taking off in the ship? No.
the stealth ship A has busted wings. B is not a planet lander.
Okay.
So they have a space ferry that takes you up.
Okay.
Although, I mean, some of the locals are using the space manta race to help with the evacuations and stuff too. So, but they have a city of 8,000 people, town something, to evacuate, and there's only so many people who can leave within 90 minutes. So some people got to stay, some people got to go, and everybody's going to be stuck in traffic. So, popping to the comments, Blake says, first concept of player being able to rewind time works. So that's a major win. Yes.
Nice.
Sweet. Which
Super
teleprompter
sweet.
are you playing with?
It's actually called teleprompter. It makes it big enough, so I'm thinking I'm going to use my ring light, and it's a ring light that has like the holder for the phone in the middle.
Yeah.
So I might use that as my teleprompter, and then I'm going to film with like a real camera.
Okay. I was about to ask if you were going to use the camera.
I actually have a video
cam.
I have a videographer and everything. Like it's going to be super nice.
Schmancy. All the schmancy.
Mm-hmm.
So awesome. That's pretty cool. Did I tell y'all with my editing, I decided, since I have 3 points of view, that I'm going to go through each point of view instead of editing between them?
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay. So, I don't think you mentioned that before.
Yeah. So right now I'm doing with my original main character, and so I'm in her chapter 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I thought that would work for pacing issues and character flow, just to make sure, because when you're jumping back and forth, it's hard to keep the voice consistent.
Yeah.
So,
at what point is it voice and like the character voice versus the author voice, and like that's why I'm like one point of view is good.
Yeah, I'm right with you there. Except every now and then I want to show us. I want to show a scene that the narrator doesn't know about, and it's like I can't do that.
Yeah.
I,
Which
I've
is why
seen
I wrote
people,
right third close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen people go from first person to when they have a scene that the main character can't see, jumping out to like third person narrated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, just as a like switch it up kind of thing. And
Mhm.
you know, you all often get that in like murder mysteries and stuff when you have like the killer's point of view and then you get to the main character's point of view.
Yeah.
So, you know, because most of us don't want to like empathize, get in the head of the killer. I mean, I know too many true crime fans who do, but
Yeah.
it differentiates and has a different voice to it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember someone asking me to read a horror book, which is usually not my jam, and it was like it was third person head swapping for different point of views, and then like 2/3 into the book, slamming into a chapter that's in first person, and it's the point of view of a guy who is admittedly insane, and it's like, okay, you're just like really throwing this up against the wall trying to see what sticks.
Yeah.
so Greg says hi, and he waved back at
Great.
me because I waved.
Hi.
So,
How's it going, Greg?
uh, yeah. So I don't know anything else.
You don't know anything else?
We've run to
We
the end of your area of specialty.
So I just got off the air with Adrian Santiago, which is why the makeup and stuff.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh. We talked about witchcraft and like writing stuff, and then we had an after show, which was also very cool. I was like, wow, I get to work with a professional. Yay.
What are we, chopped liver? No.
No. I mean, you know, for interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, are we ready for another sprint, maybe?
Works for me.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and reset it. Let's go ahead and do a sprint in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Have a good dinner, Blake, and good luck with your home improvements, Greg. Oh, no.
Woo. Got to finish that last sentence.
Yeah.
Squeeze in one more word. Or squeeze out one more word if you're editing. No.
Oh, well, I don't know how to finish the sentence, so I'll just stop.
We'll fix it in post.
This is post.
Oh, darn.
So, how was your sprint?
Good. I fiddled around more with that teleprompter, and I smoked a cigarette, and I looked over my script a little more, and trying to think how I'm gonna, like, do I make one long video about blurbs, or do I split them up by blurb? You know, like,
I would split them up
yeah,
because short, punchy, and then you also get the people who missed the first post will sometimes go back and watch the earlier ones.
yeah.
So,
I keep thinking of Andy usually recommending the book Bird by Bird, and now I'm seeing it as Blurb by Blurb.
Blurb by blurb.
so. Greg asked, "Isn't this pre?" Right now, I am editing Zero Draft, so it's not quite pre.
It is both pre and post, but it's not during. And sorry about having to take 3/8 of an inch off of a cabinet in order to fit your fridge in, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And it's not the trim, so.
Had to take off the cabinet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blah.
The kids are asleep. Had to hop off for dinner. Kelly totally sympathizes with Greg. My mom bought a modern fridge for her home, but built in the 70s. Now the fridge sits in the dining room because the door to the kitchen is too small.
Yeah, I fear my future is basically there, because my house was also built in the 70s. It was a model home for, built in 1970 proper. And I fear that they don't make fridges that small anymore.
Yeah, we dealt with that when we had to replace our fridge. We wanted to get one of the double door fridges, and there literally were not any that were small enough to fit into the space that we had. That either the cabinets were too low above, or too narrow on either side, or the space for it wasn't deep enough. So
Yeah.
A friend of mine gave me their fridge years and years ago because they moved into a house that had been flipped, and the person put the largest possible fridge in there, having to remove trim to make it fit, and the door wouldn't open all the way. So they replaced the fridge, and we got their old one.
Oh.
So you have a massive garage?
Our old one went to the basement, and then the new one went in the fridge nook. And yeah, no, it worked out pretty well for us. But yeah, the flippers had gotten, they're like, what size is the opening? And didn't think about hinges. And the fact that doors take up space when they open.
Yeah.
Another friend of mine recently totally gutted and remodeled their kitchen, and they upgraded like whoa and have 2 fridges that open like this.
Oh.
But it looks like one giant wall of fridge.
Okay.
And I think what one is, but because of dietary things, one is everything and one is dietary restriction things. So yeah. But hilarious. Yeah. So Greg says they're going to just remove the cabinet, then monkey with it. Maybe you could just move it up and remount it. I don't know.
If you can move it up.
Yeah. So Kelly says, love the hairstyle /
Why,
wig.
thank you.
So pretty. And Greg already bought spackle. I don't know if Kelly was talking about his round 1 of edits or my round 1 of edits.
I think your round 1 edits, but
so they found out they had 2 doors to the kitchen, the 29-inch and the 130-inch, and the fridge is 30 inches. So
wow.
To take off the door and grease the sides and slide the sucker right on it.
Slide that sucker in with butter. Yeah.
Walls and fridges don't really have any smoosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if the walls have smoosh, you don't want them to have smoosh.
You don't want
Yeah,
them to have
usually
smoosh.
that's the case.
Needs butter.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Crisco.
Why do your walls make me want popcorn? No.
Uh, I
There's a
don't think
callback.
popcorn ceilings were the worst thing in a dorm room.
Yeah, there's popcorn ceiling in this house. It was very
I'm
popular in the
sorry.
70s.
I have a textured plaster entryway that
Yeah.
doesn't match anything else in the house.
Yeah.
See, I'd never understood the whole popcorn ceiling thing. It's like, okay, you've covered your ceiling with a texture that will actually grab dust, and then you'll always be worried about stuff falling from your ceiling into whatever you're doing.
Yeah, this
And
theory
you can't
behind
clean
it
it.
was the theory behind it was to muffle sound, to make sure that the sound wasn't echoing straight down, so it
Uh-huh.
scattered the sound. So it's supposed to make it quieter. So Greg is
Aw.
loving your eyeshadow too. You are all pretty today.
Thank you.
I mean, you're always pretty, but your hair and makeup are also
It's
pretty.
apparently like the bee's knees today, which is
Yeah.
good because that means that I looked good. If I look good here, I also looked good on Adrian's stream.
Yeah. So it is almost 6:40. Did we want to do another sprint or call it a night?
I would call it a night.
Oh, we can totally do that. Kelly says, interesting. I didn't think of the soundproofing. Yeah, that was the original concept, because when you
Oh.
have flat walls, the sound bounces straight back. And that was the theory behind the popcorn ceilings and stuff.
So
Yeah.
I know the house I grew up in had like stucco swirls on the ceiling, and maybe that might help reduce noise, but it's at least easier to clean because there's some smoothness to it. It's not like, oh, if I brush that, bits of it will rain down on me.
Yeah. They fixed one issue and solved another.
When I was a teenager, I slept in a bunk bed, and I used to have night terrors. So there was one point where I woke up, I sat up, and it was so sudden, I slammed my head into the ceiling and I knocked myself right back out.
Oh, what fun.
Greg says your makeup is on point and night night, folks. Kelly says that's my old room at my mom's.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, well, I am going to have my Twitch people do a raid. Do we want to go to Travis Tavern or Q Wordy Q?
Oh, Cordy.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start. Let's do our outros and then I'll start the raid.
All right. Howdy,
Start with
neighbors.
Sako.
Yay. I'm Sako Toomey, also known as Voit. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine those three things. If you like this video at any point, I encourage you to hit the like button, and if you would like to see more lives just like this one, then I advise that you hit subscribe and maybe even ring that bell on the off chance that YouTube actually notifies you when she goes live, and we will catch you on the flip side.
And I'm Doc Coleman. I write steampunk comedy adventure. I'm currently doing post on the second book in the Adventures of Crackle and Bang. That's The Kindred of Kali, which I hope to have out later this summer. So keep an eye out for it. And if you're not familiar with my work, all my links are down below, or you can search on Doc Coleman Steampunk, and that will bring up my website. It will bring up my Amazon author page, and you can see if my writing will tickle your fancy.
Oh, baby.
Stop there.
And I'm your host, Morgan Hazelwood. I got some progress done. I did exactly what I was hoping to do. Edited one chapter and got my weekly roundup out the door. So you can find me Thursdays blogging and vlogging, writing tips and writerly musings. This week I'm doing some tips from the pros from a recent convention I hit. I don't know what's going to come up this week, but last week was an AMA with editors at publishing houses.
Ooh.
And on writing tips and writerly musings, my podcast, which you can find everywhere podcasts exist, this week was Don't Give Away Your Writing Time. Like, but by downloading a new version of Bejeweled on your phone.
Yeah.
So you can find me everywhere. And yeah, let's go raid QWERTY if you're on Twitch. Otherwise, have a great week, and I will see you. I will not be here next week, but I'll be back in April. So,
but go ahead
ready
and
to
watch
rerun.
one of the reruns and sprint anyway and get things done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me
I have a birthday
too.
party to hit, so
Cool.
the rated, so bye.